Never automate a broken process.
90% of AI adoption is actually failing enterprises.
AI is changing our operating models. 80% of the jobs that my children will be doing have not been invented yet. 40% of people will need to upskill by 2030. 80% of all the project management skills will be automated by 2030.
Welcome back to The Bottom Line, the podcast where business agility meets real transformation. I'm Christabel Singh, your host, and today we're heading inside the SAFE Summit 2025, which took place in Denver just about a few weeks ago. We're going to be unpacking how AI and modern agile practices are reshaping the future of work. And with me is Oskar Kawecki, one of the best in the craft, safe practice head at upGrad KnowledgeHut, and a driving force behind enterprise scale transformation. Oskar, it's fantastic to have you on the show.
Thank you so much, Christabel, and welcome everybody. It's always a pleasure to be here with you and to talk to you.
All right. So let's kick off the headline moments from this year's summit. What stood out most to you?
So this Safe Summit in Denver was really special, especially from this point of view that in the past we have been visiting and met mostly in Europe. Now it was the time when we also, as upGrad, were able to go there to US, which is a totally different vibe and but a really amazing atmosphere. And what really stood out for me from this Safe Summit is that if you are looking at all those posts on LinkedIn that, agility is dead, maybe even safe is dead, or it is declining, then my point of view is something totally different. I met more than 1,000 safe enthusiasts who were working together towards the future of business agility, and it was really an amazing experience.
Awesome. So, what was the number of participants and people who showed up, and who were these people?
Yeah, thank you, Christabel. So it was more than 1,000 people, and it was across the industries. So obviously, for me as an SPCT, it was really great to see my fellow SPCTs and SAFE fellows and spend the time with them, because this is really feels like being part of one big family. Obviously, people from Scaled Agile, all the representatives, and then the SPCs, the Agile coaches, and the representatives from the biggest organizations from all around the world, from all the industries, including banking, automotive, pharma, really wanting to learn more where SAFE is heading and drive the future of business agility together.
Wow, quite a power-packed gathering for
Yes.
sure. And yes, now SAFE itself is evolving. What did we learn about how this change is showing up, especially in transformation across these enterprises?
This is very interesting and also very important, Christabel, as most of the frameworks that are focusing on agility, that are even focusing on lean, they are focusing much more on the implementation of the framework itself, but are not facing, or let's say, are not focusing so much on solving the real business problems. And it's really great that NG Sales has started this new narrative during the Safe Summit in Sorrento, and it has been repeated even louder here in Denver, that Safe is a framework that is meant to solve real business problems. And I believe that this is the biggest change in the framework and also within the community, that we as SPCTs, as SPCs, as Agile coaches, we have been focusing too much on the agility itself, too much on the processes itself, but too little on for solving real business problems that the business and the executives are facing. And with this new SAFE approach, we finally are focusing on that, which is, I believe, the most important thing that we should do.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's across the board, it's very common to see folks really getting stuck on the nitty-gritties of the processes and missing the big picture and the business impact and the business outcome, which is really at the heart of all of this. So it's great to see all of these moves towards that. Now, a major theme here has been AI native transformation. And how, so it'll be great to hear from you. How is AI influencing agility and business results across the organizations?
Oh, thank you, Christabel. So, as everybody might expect, the SAFE Summit was focusing mostly on AI and on the transformation efforts and what it basically means for us as the industry, but also how it affects literally everybody and every job on the planet. And one thing that I can share with you is that even I was stunned how big impact already AI has on the transformations globally. So nowadays, over 90% of all the budgets that are being distributed by the organizations on both the transformation and on the trainings are moving towards AI. So
Right.
this is a huge shift, the one that we haven't anticipated. We knew that it's going to happen, but we didn't anticipate it that it's going to happen so fast. And the reason behind this is that nowadays every CEO of literally every organization in the world hears the same thing from the board every week. What are we doing in order to stay competitive when it comes to AI? What are we doing in order to enhancing our AI capabilities? And whether they like it or not, whether they know what AI is, or maybe they do not even have a clue and they haven't used a ChatGPT yet, they really need to invest because this is what what the stakeholders are pushing for, and this drives this enormous wave that is now rolling through the organizations around the world.
Right. In a related note, there has been this MIT study that is being talked about, which talks about how 90% of AI adoption is actually failing in enterprises. Why do you think this is?
Yeah, this is a very good thing that you brought up because one thing is investing in AI. The second thing is to see any kind of return of investment and any kind of measurable results. And unfortunately, only 10% or maybe even 5% of all the
Yeah,
initiatives
5%.
that the companies are now focusing on regarding AI are bringing any kind of value. And the reason behind this is, and there was a really great presentation by Mick Kirsten from Plainview, and they have been moving. Mick Kirsten, if you don't know it, is the author of the famous book From Project to Product, and Plainview is one of the best tools that allows us to measure the flow of value through through our organizations. And the research shows that only 8% of the time that the companies are using is focusing on creation. So only 8% of time is consumed by the development teams, the testing teams, your agile release trains, and basically the people who do the actual work. Unfortunately, 48% of the time is being consumed by the ideation step. So something that
Wow.
is, something that happens before, and this is mostly due to heavy planning and also founding processes. And then 44% of the time is being consumed by the release process, which is obviously very time consuming. And even if you have DevOps practices, then you do not apply them at scale. And why those practices are failing, this is actually nothing new. And I always say to our clients and to our students that they should never automate a broken process. So whenever you're looking at the DevOps practices and you're looking at
True.
the Calm approach, this is when you're looking at the automation, I always say to them that first you should look at how your flow looks like before, because if you're going to automate a component within the broken process, it's not going to deliver the desired results. And guess what the companies are now trying to do? They are trying to 10x their teams, their agile release trains, but the teams and the agile release trains are not the constraint. In most of the cases, it's going to be either upstream, so those heavy planning and founding activities, or the lack of automation needed in order to deploy the batch to production. That's why the activities are failing, because they are not focusing on the biggest constraint in the process itself.
Wow, that is quite some statistics about 44% of the time going into the release processes. And I loved what you said about never automating a broken process because, yeah, if the process is broken and then it's into automation, it's just automating all the Pandora's box that is going to follow from there.
Exactly,
So,
exactly, Christabel, and that's why my biggest takeaway from the Safe Summit is that we need Safe, obviously, and we need AI more than ever before. And the reason behind this is that AI is going to change everything in the next upcoming years. And the reason behind this is that AI is changing our operating models. It means that it changes how the organizations are currently working and how they are basically interacting with the customers, how they are making money. So if we are going back, if we would like to go back to a year about 2000 when the first internet revolution, when the internet revolution started, and the first dot-coms started to emerge, we saw and we understood that around 2010 everything has changed, yeah, because it wasn't only about having a fancy website anymore. It changed how you interacted with your clients, yeah? Because suddenly the client doesn't want to walk into your bank and doesn't want to interact with the person sitting at the desk. You need to have a new model, how you are going to attract, how you are going to sell, how you are going to charge and provide your services to your customers. So it changed basically everything. It changed the operating models.
yeah.
And we know the classical history, Blockbuster versus Netflix, those companies who basically failed to adopt, they were out of the market. And currently, when we are looking at the statistics, we see that the AI is no longer a pilot mode. And according to McKinsey, more than 78% of the companies are already using it and adapting it to their operating model. And also with the new ways of working and applying, for example, the AI agents to your operating model, we are going to see that if I want to, for example, reserve a new hotel or maybe even reserve a training, then I will basically can already give this task to an AI agent who is, guess what, going to interact with an AI agent within the hotel itself, because it's not going to be a real person anymore. So it changes everything, and it's will basically reshape our future in much more bigger way than the internet revolution did. But as we already said, most of the organizations currently are not ready to basically adapt the AI into their operating model. And the reason behind this is that their processes are not ready for that at this point of time. So what we should do, we should still focus on safe. We should still go to the basics, map your processes, streamline your process first to make it AI ready, and then go through this path to how we are going to get to the AI native part, which is basically the future.
Right. Awesome. You touched on so many important points there. And the key thing, I think, is also the underlying, some of the underlying reasons in that MIT study that they had brought forth too. Because before you get into implementing AI, your data has to be clean enough.
Yes.
And there's a lot of work to be done to even get it AI ready.
Exactly, Christabel. And the interesting news is that I have little children, and the research shows that 80% of the jobs that my children will be doing have not been invented yet. So this is both scary and exciting at the same time. And but we also know that both reactions are totally valid, because every kind of revolution, every kind of new technology always is met with both fear and excitement. Let's take a look at electricity. And, people were fearing electricity, and even some of the United States presidents said that there will be no electricity at the White House, yeah, because it was too dangerous. Obviously, it changed everything. At the same time, as Blockbuster and other companies were saying, the internet is it's a fancy thing, yeah, but the clients, they always like face-to-face interactions, and they will always come to visit our bank, our shop, our store, etc., etc. So the trend is that we have a tendency as humans to overestimate the use of technology in the short time. Look, for example, at the dot-com bubble. Even if you just having a website meant that your stocks were skyrocketing, but it was not that easy. Obviously, having a website was too little. You needed to change your operating model in order to allow your customers to interact with your organization through that website. And it is a totally different thing. But at the same time, we have a tendency to underestimate the impact of technology in the long run. And as internet has changed everything, now AI is going to change everything as well. And you touch upon a very interesting topic regarding that who is going to make sure that the AI is going to be implemented correctly in our organizations, who is going to make sure that we are going to have a systemic approach. And just like we have, LACEs, so Lean Agile Centers of Excellence, I believe that it is already time to start thinking about AI centers of excellence as well. So who is going to define the standards, how AI is going to be implemented in our organization to have a systematic approach, but even more importantly, who is going to make sure that our operating model will be capable of using all of these capabilities that AI is going to give us.
Right. Interesting times.
Very.
Yeah. So, yeah. My kids are also like 12 and 14, and like you, it's a mix of excitement and nervousness as to what to kind of expect, because those jobs have not yet, we can't even imagine what those jobs are going to be. Yes.
Exactly.
So
My
what do you,
wife, she
yeah.
always she says to me that I spend more time with ChatGPT than with her. So, but as I spend most of the time during the day at work, and I obviously use with work with various AI tools, that it literally it becomes a reality that we are going to spend more
Yeah.
time with AI than
Yes.
interacting with real humans.
Yes, absolutely. And so that brings us to another scary slash exciting trend that we're seeing now, because the latest research from Gartner projects that I don't know the exact number, but probably 30 to 40% of knowledge workers must reskill to keep pace by 2030. So it's a whole new urgency that's kicking in, which we have not seen before. It's really like skill up and get good, and get good with your creative muscles, get good with adapting, how quickly you're going to be able to adapt to these things, and either you get there or you get left behind. Right? So it's crazy, and I would love to hear from you a little bit more around this.
Yes, thank you, Christabel, and you're correct. So it's actually more than 40% of people will need to upskill by 2030 to stay relevant on the market. And yes, we have, this is another revolution, a cultural revolution, but also the learning revolution as well, because we have never, as humanity, faced this kind of situation that so many people needed to upskill in such a little time. And those times and this era where you went to school, you, for example, learned how to become an engineer, you learned how to become a teacher, you learned how to, etc., etc., and then you can simply work for the next 30 or 40 years till retirement are long gone. So nowadays, the research shows that, for example, and this is yes, also from Gardner, over 80% of all the project management skills will be automated by 2030. So think about yourself now. If you're a project manager and 80% of the skills will be automated, so you need to upskill and you need to start looking for making yourself valuable to the organization like never before. And this is also, I think, quite interesting that it's going to blend very much with the revolution of lifelong learning. I know that we have been talking about it for a long time, and now there is a trend when even people who are retired, they go to the universities of the third age, and they still were learning, but this was more for a hobby. But nowadays it's going to be a reality. It's not like that you will go to school, university, you will learn something. Now you will have to constantly learn and upskill in all your life, because if you will not, then you will not be relevant on the market anymore.
Totally, totally. And so now diving back into the SAFE Summit and some of the developments there with helping professionals become AI native, so to speak. We hear about some new courses launching and more customization towards that. Can you give us the ins more of the insider information on that?
Yes, thank you, Christabel. So this is really exciting news, and we as upGrad will be one of the first AI native partners in the world. And already in November, we will be able to start launching the new courses and classes, which I think that will start around next year, but also working with our enterprise clients as well. So the AI native path from Scaled Agile is focused on, hey, everybody knows that we need to and we want to use AI tools and we want to enhance our ways of working within the organization. But if you're a manager, if you're a CEO of the organization, do you have a systematic or a systemic approach how to implement AI into your operating model? You don't. That's why those 90% of initiatives, they do not have any kind of value. They only generate a lot of cost and a lot of disturbance. So just like SAFE brought clarity and structure to how are you basically governing all the processes within your organization, from the time when you ideate to the time when you deploy to production and you release the value to your clients. The same way the AI native courses are going to bring the clarity into how are you going to adapt AI at your team, department, and organizational level.
Right. So, what are some of the AI native courses that are getting rolled out there?
So this year we will be able to get two courses. It's AI native foundations and AI native change agent. So AI native foundations, guess what? This is a course that brings you to the whole topic, especially when you are a person who uses it individually or uses it within the team and would like to have a more systemic approach. The change agent is going to be more on, okay, how are we going to roll it out, for example, in our Agile release train? And I'm already working with, as you know, many of our clients in embedding the AI tools basically to everything that we do on the Agile release train level, from preparing and refining the user stories and the features to the PA planning, analyzing the dependencies, managing the art planning board, but also on the portfolio level, building the dashboards and the analytics that free all the time that the lean portfolio management now has, not on analyzing and preparing the data, but basically focusing on how can we make better data-driven decisions based on the data that we get. So the change agents are going to focus on helping organizations with just that. And in the next year, there is also going to be the last course, which is going to be the AI architect. And this is going to be the person who is going to drive more systemic approach. I believe that maybe this could be a person who would be leading this new AI native center of excellence to build the whole
Nice.
strategy and approach to the organization itself.
Right. So this could be an SPC or a RTE, or how does this intersect with the roles that we have traditionally seen, especially within the safe
Mhm.
world?
Yes, that's also quite interesting, and this is also evolving. As we know, SAFE is now also enrolling the AI modules into all of their courses. We have already the module in the product owner, product management training, and this is absolutely great because here the research shows, and this is also my experience that I can share with you, that over 30% of the time that the PMs were using on preparing the backlogs, managing the features, refining the user stories, can now be freed by the AI tools. And this
Mm,
month we are releasing the new module to the Scrum Master course. So yeah, the Scrum Masters will also be augmented with AI. But I think that answering your question, in November there is going to be the new AI module built into our advanced SPC course. So the advanced SPCs, so safe practice consultants, will be those really, really good candidates to become those, especially AI change agents or even AI architects. So they are meant to be the trusted advisors who help the organizations to streamline the flow, to maximize the value, and also in the future to embed the AI native into their operating model.
right. That's really interesting. And at upGrad Knowledge Hut too, we've been at the forefront of this, and you are leading many of those initiatives. But also in terms of getting even the specialized AI proficiency across these key roles, our program, we've seen great traction pick up among the generative AI courses that we've put forth to, ranging from your generative AI for enterprises to for Scrum Master and product owner and project manager and across the board. And we are expecting an uptick in this as the months roll by too.
Mm.
So yeah, I think that is a really good thing for
Yeah,
us to.
this is I can only back this up, and actually one
Mhm.
of a friend of mine, he reached out to me on LinkedIn, and not 3 days ago, I believe, and he was asking me, Oscar, I saw that you took, and he is a business analyst, that
Right.
you took the AI, generative AI for business analysis course, and is it worth it, and should I take it? And my answer was that the real question that you should be asking is, can you afford not to nowadays?
Right.
Because yeah, nowadays really investing in staying relevant, I believe, should be the first priority for everybody.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yes. So these courses are all of these generative AI programs are completely hands-on and scenario driven, not just theory, so that people can gain fluency and confidence over the course of the 2 days, which are primarily with the live interaction with your peers and with the expert in the room, right?
Yes,
Uh,
exactly, Christopher. So it's not about theory, because theory, I believe everybody has got some kind of already understanding about the tools, but the ideas, which tools to use and how to use them, and how to practice this together during those 2 or 3 days. This is exactly what those courses are about.
right. And lastly, Oscar, for leaders and for change agents that are tuning in, what would be your top recommendations for navigating this new landscape?
So currently, the biggest message to the leaders is that if AI is going to change everything, and we know that it will by 2030, but even sooner by 2027, so in the next 2 years, we're going to see a tremendous revolution on the market. Ask yourself a question: is my operating model ready for AI? And in most of the cases, the answer is going to be no. And the reason behind is that there are only two types of companies now on the market. The ones that have mapped their value streams, they know and understand where those bottlenecks are, and they're aggressively trying to remove them through relentless improvement. And I'm talking about those big tech giants, including obviously Amazon, Google, Apple, and the others. And there are other organizations who haven't mapped their value streams, who do not not know and understand where those bottlenecks are, and they still think about IT as this big black hole. They just, keep throwing money in it and are disappointed that so rarely something comes out of it. So if you haven't mapped your processes, if you do not know how to operate and to streamline them, that you will not be ready for AI. And if you are not going to be ready for AI, then ask yourself a question, where it's going to lead you in the next 5 or 10 years. Basically, it means that you will be out of the market, and this is going to be the biggest revolution that we have faced from the times of the internet combined. At the same time, to all of the SPCs, to all the Scrum Masters, project managers on the market, it's not about fearing AI, because AI is not going to replace you, but the person who uses AI definitely will. So it's going to change everything from the position that it's no longer going to be the job description that you should be following, like I'm a Scrum Master, but thinking about how much value I can bring where I currently sit. So it's going to be another really huge revolution from moving from job descriptions to basically capabilities and continuously learning, continuously evolving. So it's not even, those who are I-shaped people, I tell to them, if you invest only in one thing, then if it's going to be automated, then it's going to be a huge problem. Then in the time we invested in T-shaped skills people, so I'm not only proficient in one thing, I'm also proficient in other things as well. But I believe that the future is for the E-shaped skills people, meaning that yeah, exactly. Meaning that even if I'm a Scrum Master, then I'm basically the person who helps my organization to achieve their financial goals, remove bottlenecks, and maximize the value of the delivery. And this is the future of jobs. But this is actually a good thing, because I believe that this is going to help organizations to move so much faster, to deliver so much more value. And I hope that this revolution is going to bring a lot of value to everybody on our planet.
Yes, it's a magical time to be alive.
It definitely is.
For sure. Oscar, just so you said E-shaped, right? So just take us again through what the E is all about.
So yeah, Christopher. So I is basically that you need to be very proficient in one of your skills. Yeah, but yes, at the same time, you are not even thinking about your, let's say, team or your speciality anymore. Like, I'm a developer, but I can also, for example, test. But you should also start thinking about it even broader. But how can I bring value to my organization? How can I streamline the flow across my team? How can I connect the work to the enterprise OKRs? Those are not the typical questions that the developers, Scrum Masters, and other people were asking themselves, but they need to start doing so if they want to be relevant.
Absolutely. So to all the leaders, to all the aspiring change agents, to the change agents already on the in the field and leading from the front lines, you've heard Oscar. I think the writing is on the wall for all of us knowledge workers, but it's more than fear. We want to embrace it with excitement and the possibilities, because it's truly a magical time to be alive. So, starting with capability driven outcomes, investing in AI native training and certifications, building upskilling into the team DNA, all of these amazing points that Oscar took us through. So, for sure, transformation is accelerating in a very, very rapid way. And the future belongs to those who build real capabilities, embracing AI and fostering a relentless culture of learning. So, Oscar, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure, as always, to pick on your brains. And thank you for bringing us to speed with everything that transpired at the SAFE Summit. And we'll be looking to explore more and more about the latest trends and developments in this very exciting space as we go along. Thank you again.
Thank you.